Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, so I'll just mention real quick, Resolution 21-295 that we're looking to add tonight, essentially this is the work that's being done over on Metuchen Road, and nobody says I talk too low. On Metuchen Road, the work should be done at night, and really what's taking place right now is the EPA is going to be repaving the work that they did over on Spicer Avenue. And really, what this is going to enable us to do is that whole kind of a U from the railroad tracks and Metuchen Road, the full length going to Belmont is going to be paved. Then you'll be making the right onto Belmont, and then from Belmont you'll be making the right onto Spicer. And so, obviously, those roads were all listed in the ordinance itself. At the time that we bid out the project, we weren't sure whether or not there was going to be enough funding, not knowing where the bids are going to come in. The bids came in very favorable. These were all adjacent streets, all in the same, vicinity. And there's going to be even left over money in the ordinance, but not necessarily, it's not eligible for a change order. But this way, there'll be no remobilization or anything like that, trying to get somebody back at night to do milling, somebody bring them back at night to do paving. While they're there, they'll be able to knock all this out. So that's why we're doing the change order this evening. And we have to do it tonight because, we don't know the exact schedule. We don't know whether or not there's going to be rain, but there's a chance that they may be capable of doing this prior to our next meeting. So, we don't have the precise number, so that's why we're putting it in at $97,000 just to make sure we're not short.
Okay. With that being said, can we get a motion to add Resolution 21-295 to tonight's agenda?
So. Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. 295 is added. Council comments on agenda items? No, sir. Nothing.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, pen problems. Yeah. That should be fine. Sure. Yeah. At this point, we'll open it up for public comment on agenda items. If you're on the WebEx or conference line, you can unmute yourself, state your name. Once you're called upon, provide your address, and proceed with your question. Any public comments on agenda items only in the audience? Seeing none, for the public portion at this moment, can I ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting? So, sorry. Motion by Council President White, second by Councilman Benjavango. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Seeing no reason to delay, we'll go right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Ms. Antoni, will you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavango.
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Here.
Councilwoman Mott.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Council President White.
Here. Thank you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Benjamin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please look over this governing body as we make decisions on behalf of our residents. Please look after all of our emergency services and guide our residents to safety during this pandemic. Amen.
Amen. All right, once again, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items. Seeing none, close public portion. Can I get a motion for the approval of the council minutes for September 20th agenda in public?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilman Smith, second by Council President White. Ms. Antoni, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavango.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Bullock.
Yes.
Council President White.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay, we have 4 proclamations on for tonight. The first is Dyslexia Awareness Month. And whereas dyslexia is a language-based learning ability that causes difficulties with reading, writing, spelling, and word pronunciation, and whereas the onset and severity of dyslexia varies for each individual, and And whereas because it takes individuals with dyslexia longer to process phonemic information, disability directly affects academic growth, achievement, and self-esteem. And whereas it is important to provide effective teaching approaches and related clinical educational intervention strategies for individuals with dyslexia, and whereas Dyslexia Awareness Month is an opportunity to acknowledge educators specializing in effective teaching strategies and to celebrate the many achievements of adolescents, students, and adults with dyslexia. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Canish, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Dyslexia Awareness Month in the borough and call upon this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. And we also have a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And whereas violence against women, children, and men continues to become more prevalent as a social problem in our society, and whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but across all economic, racial, and societal barriers, and are supported by societal indifference. And whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity, due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse, with the impact of this crime being wide-ranging, whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing domestic and sexual violence in Middlesex County through prevention, education, focused on increasing gender equality and bystander intervention, increased awareness, and holding perpetuators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas throughout the month of October, we strongly support the efforts of national, state, and local partners and of every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what domestic and sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help survivors connect with services, and how every segment of our society can work together to better address domestic and sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Canish, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the Borough of South Plainfield, and encourage everyone to join anti-domestic and sexual violence advocates and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be part of the solution to end such violence. Do we have anybody here to accept? No. There you are. Come on.
Wednesday, hopefully the weather will cooperate, but at 6:30, we'll be meeting at the gazebo at Springfield Lake Park for our vigil walk at 6:30 p.m. If anybody can come, we would welcome anyone. Wait, like one with me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
That promotion, a little over.
Oh, no, really?
Not all over myself. That is good. Good. I'm not going to give in to it. All right. It's also Italian Heritage Month. Whereas Italian American Heritage Month is an appropriate time to recognize the enormous contributions that Italian and Italian American people have made to this country and the world throughout our history. And whereas Italian and Italian American Heritage Month is held to salute the Italian and Italian American community and to exhibit appreciation for their culture and their heritage that have enriched the lives of people around the world. And whereas today there are over 26 million Americans of Italian descent in the United States, of which 2 million reside here in New Jersey, and have made significant contributions to our social, cultural, and economic life. And whereas the Italian and Italian American community enjoys a rich history rooted in the ancient civilization that has had a most profound influence on every aspect of our society. And whereas the Plainfield chapter of UNICO is a valuable service organization of community-minded men and women of Italian American heritage who engage in many charitable works, support higher education, and perform patriotic deeds in South Plainfield. And whereas the month of October has traditionally been a time of celebration in the Italian American culture, and a time to honor those of Italian ancestry. Now therefore, I ask the Administrator of the Borough of South Plainfield to hereby declare October 2021 as Italian Heritage Month and encourage all residents to join in recognizing the contributions made by people of Italian ancestry who have had such a profound influence on our lives in the world. And I know we have members of UNICO here to accept that. So, come on up, ladies and gentlemen. There's some UNICO members here, I know. Join in. One, you said more.
Not worried about it. Push your way in there. Okay. Well, that's behind the brand. Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, good. It happens. I just want to say a couple words. Sure. Yeah, wait. I am the present president of UNICO right now, and I want to thank Mayor and National Council for recognizing the Italian Americans in South Plainfield. As you know, we do have a large community of Italians living in South Plainfield. We all thank you. And I want to introduce my brother-in-law and also our second national president of UNICO. Vice President.
I want to thank the Mayor and Council for the proclamation helping us to celebrate our heritage. And UNICO National will work very hard in the community, as we always do in the Plainfield chapter, to give back to the community. As Italian Americans, we're proud of our ancestry, but we want to give back. So thank you, Mayor and Council, and we'll enjoy celebrating this month.
Okay. One last thing, I would like to thank our chair of this event, Debbie Boyle. She is in charge of our Columbus Day activities, getting the proclamation and everything. This year, instead of doing our ceremony for Columbus Day, we decided just to all gather here. We have our wreath in honor of Columbus, and later on, either this evening, if it's not raining, or when the sun shines, we will put the flag and the wreath out front. Thank you. Thank you.
Write them up.
Nobody. Okay, we have one additional proclamation for tonight. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And whereas October 2021 marks more than 30 years that National Breast Cancer Awareness Month has educated women about early breast cancer detection. And whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer by collaborating with several national public service organizations, professional organizations, and government agencies who will work together to ensure that the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month message is heard by thousands of women and their families. And whereas the American Cancer Society estimates in the United States more than 226,870 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women this year, and whereas the American Cancer Society estimates in the United States that more than 2,190 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in men this year. And whereas through research and advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including significant decreases in mortality. And whereas 2.9 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States today are a testament to courage, as well as the importance of promoting awareness about breast cancer, providing information, funding research, following recommended screening guidelines, and offering treatment to those who are affected. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Nash, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and ask all citizens to join in this worthwhile cause to celebrate success and memorialize lost battles. And I have Councilwoman Faustini and Councilman Smith would like to say a couple words.
Yes, I just want to, thank the mayor for doing this proclamation this evening. I did ask a local breast cancer charity, Pink Stocks, to accept that they were unable to attend this evening. But we are running a fundraiser on the turf field to raise awareness for Pink Stocks. So you can look that up. And I just want to really do a public service announcement. I mean, it's the most common cancer of women in the United States right now, but it is treatable. And just remind women, please get your mammogram to get checked. The sooner it's caught, the higher the survival rate.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm honored to sit down and thank the mayor and council for making this proclamation. As breast cancer has touched my family in more ways than one, and to see that this proclamation and awareness to our community is so important. For years, I've had pink hair in the month of October. When I rep, I used to wear pink hair and pink socks and pink whistles. So it is truly something that just does not affect women, it does affect men. So everyone needs to go out and get checked continuously for this. And again, thank you all to the mayor and council.
Thank you. Okay. For final adoption, ordinance 2214.
Yes, an ordinance of South Plainfield, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 187 of the Code of the Borough of South Plainfield titled Vehicles and Traffic.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2214?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Warlock, seconded by Council President White. As this is for final adoption, we'll open it up for public comments regarding ordinance 2214. Seeing none, close the public portion. Council comments. No. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
And Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Also for final adoption, ordinance 2215.
An ordinance of South Plainfield, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of property known as Lot 2.05, Ames Lot 397, no longer needed for public use.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2215?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Mott, second by Council President White. Again, as this is for final adoption, we'll open it up for public comments regarding ordinance 2215. Seeing none, close the public portion. Council comments.
None, Mayor.
Nothing, none. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolutions 21-285 to 21-295?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilman Smith, seconded by Council President White. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have one item, correspondence, the Health Advisory Board minutes for December 8th, 2020. Can I get a motion to accept the correspondence?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilman Smith, second by Councilman Wallach. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Payment of bills. Can I get a motion for $588,974.85? So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. Ms. Antoni, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, anything for us?
No, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you. Ms. Antoni?
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cullen?
Yes, Mayor. You know, about all I want to report is, you know, obviously, we just finished the third quarter of the year, and, you know, there's been, you know, the last 2 years, we've had a lot of discussions about the borough's miscellaneous revenues continuing to drop. Things like building, hotel tax, court fees, those things have certainly stabilized over the last few months, and I do believe by the end of the year, although it's reduced more than 2 or 3 years ago, by the end of the year, we're going to have higher miscellaneous revenues than we're budgeting in 2021. And with that, progress.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. There's an update on the road projects on Durham Avenue. The contractor has finished the section from New Durham down to about Hogan. And now he's starting on the section from 287 up to Hamilton Boulevard. So he's starting on some drainage work out there. They were out there today, and they should be working continuously. Hopefully we'll have that job finished off shortly. Metuchen Avenue, the contractor's ready to get started, as we talked about earlier. They are having a little bit of difficulty meeting with the railroad people and coordinating some work that has to be done within their right of way. That's actually what's holding it up right now. So we're looking to get that straightened out and get that job moving.
And Mayor, just, you know, I don't mean to interrupt you, Lynn, but that work's going to take place at night, the paving. I mean, not necessarily the storm, you know, the curbing, but,
Okay.
you know, the milling, the paving, all of that's going to take place for both Durham Avenue and for Metuchen Road, and now including a little part Belmont and Civic Spice, that's going to take place at night.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ken.
No, the last thing we have is we're essentially cleaned up with the storm damage. There might be a miscellaneous stop that we have to hit here and there, but other than that, we're looking to move on to leaf collection now.
I think you got some
With
time.
that progress.
I think you got some time for leaf collection. Councilwoman Mott?
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Bullock? Progress, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Smith?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I would like to thank the parade committee. We had a great Labor Day parade, great weather, great response to our residents coming out to see that, and it was a great thing. I'd like to thank Dr. Temple and the Environmental Commission for the shredding event that went on the same day. Everything seemed to go very, very well. And more recently, we had Hispanic Heritage Month, and Councilman White, we darned our masks. It was a great event. It was a pleasure to be there, to learn so much about the heritage that we have here, and I'm looking forward to learning more about our Italian heritage and as we go through all this. I'd also like to recognize John Albrecht and Andrew Nguyen from the Board of Health. We had a meeting. Everything went well. They're doing great response, and they reported we did have some people questioning with the flood and people putting stuff out, a possible rat infestation, but according to John, there's no unusual activity at all, so we're doing very well with that. And with that, Mr. Mayor, one last thing to the Public Works. Lang and your crew, great job cleaning up our town through all this with the flood. And with that, progress.
Good job, Mr. Miller. So just to set the record straight, Councilwoman Faustini and I, who first made the masks, we just both happened to forget.
Yeah, you guys were forgetful.
Yes.
We didn't forget.
Correct.
Yeah, but I danced.
You did. You did.
Yes, you did. Stephanie, you heard that, right? You danced. You saw the video, right? It was a great time, and for those of you that may have had other plans this time, next year when we do it, at the Library Commission, they did a great job with, the Heritage. We'd like to see it expand. It was a great event, had some good food.
Yeah.
And some very, informational pieces out there about all the Hispanic heritage that we have throughout our country here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Benjamin?
Thank you, Mayor. This past weekend, obviously, we had the Buddy Walk of South Plainfield that we attended, and both family, really does a great job in coordinating that. This is, Mayor and I believe it's our 15th year, last year we didn't have it, but our 15th year doing it, and it's just was a great turnout, and a great day to have it. So, this year I had my little, guy Matthew walking and supporting it, and him being the 2.5, almost 3, you got to see some of the, animals and stuff, so it was a great day for everybody, and, happy birthday to Councilwoman Faustini.
Oh, thank you.
She had her birthday over the weekend, so we celebrated with Hispanic Heritage, her birthday, and then
It was great, yes, I got, Elise Confiance, I believe. So, which was really special.
yes, happy birthday.
Thank you.
With that birthday.
Thank you. Councilman Faustini?
Yes, in the recreation area, soccer is in full swing, our STEM programming starts this evening, a new buddy ball program starting up this fall, we're kind of doing a little bit of a sampler program, try a little bit of everything every week, there's still time to sign up for that, to be either a helper or to participate in the program. Basketball details will be announced soon on that. I want to let everybody know there will be a trunk or treat event hosted by the Public Celebrations Committee, which will be held on Halloween in Veterans Park. Hours and more information will be coming on that. This year, we had a tremendous turnout last year, so this year, in addition, we're asking for help with some candy donations. We'll have bins placed at Borough Hall, the library, and the PAL, if anybody would like to help and donate candy or do a trunk. Again, details will be coming. And then the next fabulous event from the library coming will be the Fall Festival, which will be on October 16th. You can sign up in advance online for that as well. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So, next meeting, we will officially introduce our trick-or-treating hours. We went off script last year, went 12 to 7, and I think a lot of people, I would say a lot of people, there were significant people that maybe thought that was too much. So, we won't have a final decision yet. What I would do is invite anybody to email me, anesh@southplainfieldnj.com. Right now, we're looking at 3 to 7, but we'll take some resident feedback. You can also email Chief Parker. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'll take any feedback through email, or if you want to call, Ann would be happy to speak with you. Yes, it is a Sunday, so that's why we're looking at, kind of mixing it up here, so. 3 to 7, unless.
I think earlier.
Now is your opportunity to weigh in.
We have audience members who may be raising their hands, who think earlier.
Keep it clean, your suggestions, and we'll take it from there. Council President White?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Okay. At this point, we'll open it up for public comments, anything on your mind. We'll start in the room here first. Ms. Ward.
Stephanie Woolard, 123 Norway Lane. First of all, 12 o'clock for Halloween. The kids are gonna be jumping out of their houses, like, what are they gonna be doing? That's the first thing. And then secondly, as far as the drop-offs for the candy,
Yeah.
it's going to be the senior center, not the PAL.
Oh, I thought we changed it back to the PAL.
Did we?
Yeah. Well, we'll clarify.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
good clarification,
Yeah.
but that's,
Okay.
that's it.
Thank you. Email suggestions. Yes, ma'am. It's on.
I have copies for all the councilmen, if am I allowed to pass it out to you?
You can, if you could just give your name and address for the clerk as well.
All right, my name's Carol Cristato, 2305 Saloon Avenue, South Plainfield. I've been here before. And basically, I thought it was easier if I handed out papers. This way you have what I'm going to be saying, and you can refer to it later, because there is a lot of information. And I do want to say that I'm also representing all my neighbors, my concerned, long-term South Plainfield neighbors, right here on this side, Gary, Sue, Leon, Don, and Terry. We have a problem. 2301 Saline Avenue, as you can see on the paper, has been, first of all, abandoned from 2005 to 2017. Now, in 2017, finally, there was a sheriff's sale. That was great, except it didn't go through. Fine. April 2018, we were very happy, second sheriff's sale. And you're probably familiar with this gentleman's name.
Yes.
Okay. Gerhando. He lives in California. That's the problem.
Right.
Okay, 2018, we came to our first council meeting, just to, go over this, and we wanted to make sure that he followed all the South Plainfield rules, because he wasn't. Okay, 2018, we went to a second council meeting, and thank goodness they did approve Gerhando's plans. We were elated, but we were promised that there'd be someone here to represent us, I guess you could say like a supervisor or someone on site in case there were any problems. Now, there was never anybody on site, just the construction workers, okay? The reason this is a problem is because what happened was, even though he was approved December 2018, it was 10 months, October 2019, that he finally picked up the permit. Right there, it's a little strange. 10 months just to get the permit, and they were ready. He worked October 28th to December 2019, gutting the house. Okay, that was it. But we were still elated. Things are working. Of course, I understand COVID. Here's the irony. January to April 2020, we had COVID. Understandable, but the weird thing is, he actually had his workers come in May. COVID was still going on, but outside construction, it was allowed. He worked a very short time, May to August. Okay, here's the big, big problem. October 2020, okay, everything was failing. All the inspections were failing. I don't know if he was told this, everything, plumbing, structure, just everything. So now we did a petition, and the mayor knows that, and that was signed by all our neighbors, because we are very concerned. So we thought, okay, maybe something will be done. No, nothing was done. October 2020, now guess what? The permit's expired. So now nothing really can be done. Liens were put on the house. Okay. Now, November 2020 to April 2021, now we don't even have lawn maintenance. So we are calling and calling, trying to get that done. Finally, May 2021, which isn't that long ago, we have a terrific lawn maintenance guy coming now. That is through the owner. That's it, though. Now we're on October 2021, and my question is, how long can this go on? Because the permits have been expired now for a year. So inside the house is a mess. If you look on your second page, and I have color photos, you'll see what's happening. Everything is a disaster there.
So Paul, I direct her to give those to you.
Here's the problem, and I'm not just a complainer. I spent so much time researching, I don't really know that much, but I found out he's supposed to have an in-state representative. There's no, it's like no way we can get anything done, and that is trying to recognize the possible mold in there, the insects, the animals. It's completely open on the top. You can see I went over there, took pictures, you can see the rafters. Here's the thing. The other page I gave you, I'm able to look through your South any residential structure in disrepair by reason of deteriorating conditions should be met. The exterior has to be kept in good repair, including keeping water out. None of this is happening. My suggestion, put liens on the house, start moving, because you know what's gonna happen? Nothing. We can't do any more. 2 council meetings, petitions, my neighbors will, if they choose, will speak and back me up. And we have so much pride that we just don't know what else to do. And my question basically is, how long can this go on? Because right now the house is starting to really show disrepair. And as a neighbor right next door, I'm still paying for $35 a month pest control. I don't mind, but I would like to have that in soon, because I do have insects, and I have another picture if you want to see it. I didn't print it, of a dead rat on my lawn. Thank you.
So Glenn and I guess Paul, right, we don't know what the history was. Rich been out there recently, anybody aware?
You know, Dominic and Rich, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't talk to them for the meeting tonight, so
No.
I'd have to talk to the 2 of them.
Okay.
And maybe the health official, and the health official.
But if you could just refer,
is
Yeah.
registered as a vacant property.
It is?
We register,
Okay.
and because there's liens on it, we do charge the higher fee annually. The owner, he pays, he thinks nothing is paying it. It's an ongoing problem. Carol, you've been in my
I know,
office, we talked
and
about it.
I did start, I mean, it's gotta be where, these things have to be way up there. You gotta push him out, either he's gotta pay, he's gotta start.
Well, it sounds like he is paying, so
Well,
he's
I
been
mean,
fined.
to get the permit, he should be
Yeah.
getting new permits, he shouldn't be allowed, it's now the house is just sitting.
Yeah.
And obviously, because of this time period, it's been over a year, I don't think he has any intention of doing anything with this property, and I'm just a little
Right.
concerned.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I'm not sure who promised
Well,
its supervisors on site. I'm not aware of anything.
I was nervous because I didn't really know this man, and I think I was coming up here and someone said, well, I said, who do I talk to if there's a problem, like if something happens? Like actually, a pipe was starting to go down, you know, a drain pipe, and
Sure.
I didn't have anybody to call.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, the town helped me. I called them, and then they
No.
helped secure it.
Okay. Yeah, because, so they should get involved in the inspection process, which they did.
She probably needs inspections.
Okay, yeah. But they wouldn't be on site when the work's being done.
Well,
Some of it, yes.
Maybe, some of it, I guess, maybe.
but my question is this, how long can a property slowly start to, like, I take care of my I mean, is there a limit, or are we just gonna do nothing? And just kind of push it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
Well,
a question of a limit, it's an issue of, are they in violation of any property maintenance code,
Yes.
traffic code?
And who rides by the house?
They are,
I can't make that decision, that's gotta come from the officials.
who's the official?
Well, we have to talk to Mr.
Okay.
Rolo, Mr. Rico, the health official.
Okay.
They're the ones that have to inspect, make a determination, give a citation. If they don't determine that there's violation, there's really nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
Paul,
Determine, making that
I
determination.
have one question. Obviously, the construction official can deem a property as an unsafe structure.
Sure.
You know, if he feels that's appropriate, but in addition to that, the one thing that I've learned in another town is that you have habitability hearings. So we've seen in the past where you've had houses with fires, takes years for them to fix. You have houses that are boarded up with the X's, and it takes years for them to get knocked down before we have to go to a court order to get knocked down. In other municipalities, they do have habitability hearings where if the construction official and the zoning officer deem that property is in disrepair and they're not fixing it up or repairing it, they have to come in front of the governing body to have that habitability hearing, and they have so much time to do that, where else the town takes action.
But
So
you
is
just
that
said
something
your
that we could
inspectors
look
have
at?
to make that, your officials have to make that determination.
Correct, but do we have that ability with the codes that we have on our books, or is that something that we would have to enact?
I thought we
have
had
it?
some unsafe structure ordinance when we.
Well, that's right here, I'll just
Yeah,
Right.
This is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Sherman.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's what Dominic used for that.
Yeah. Well, there's the unsafe structure in the UCC, but we also have the building.
Yes, but it, as far as I'm concerned, it is abandoned because he's just gone.
But it's a different question that Councilman Benedict's asking you, which is short circuit. Look, we haven't done it in the 12 years I've been here, so I would want to look at the code and be sure of what's there. But,
Something that I found successful.
yeah, whatever's there or not there, we always, if it's not there, we can add to it. But point one is the officials have to go out
Correct.
and make determinations.
Because they have to testify.
And document.
And if you discuss, I believe the officials are, I guess the
building department,
inspector.
building code enforcement.
They're aware, and so is the health.
Health officials,
Right.
property.
They're all aware of it. They told me to actually, they suggested that we come to the meeting because their hands are tied. It's sort of like now it's a little bit, I hate to say it, a little bit of, who's gonna do what. I'd be happy to
Yeah.
write a letter to this gentleman and explain.
No, that's
That's not gonna get you.
That's not necessary.
Well-
Let us talk to the building department specifically about this tomorrow,
I appreciate it.
because they should have just brought it to our attention again, and rather than send you to a council meeting, and we could have gotten everything that they've been doing. So unfortunately, terrible advice from them for you, but we'll talk to them tomorrow. We'll have the attorney look at the ordinances that we have and see what can be legally done. And then, we'll get back to, we have your contact information. Amy, you have her information?
Yes, Caroline.
Okay. So we'll get a hold of you as soon as we can confirm some of that over the week.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else from the neighborhood association? Leon?
Leon Wadowski, 2309 Saline Avenue.
Yep.
On the workmanship, this house has been very poor from the beginning.
Right.
Before they started construction, the power was pulled off and water was gathering in the basement causing a mold problem. And the reason the water was collecting is the basement, settled right by support, so you're always gonna have a pool of water.
Okay.
Right now, someone chopped a 3x3 hole in the floor down to the dirt. I have no idea why. When they did the roof, they put the ice barrier up. It was up a little bit too long, the wind caught it, it ripped about 3/4 of the way off. The roofer stapled it back on. So it's not a complete ice barrier. They shingled it. They did not put any, boots on the vent pipes. About 80% of the shingles are buckled right now. They originally put the wrong windows on the second floor. They took them out, they reframed them. There was a delay in getting them. The siding people came in. Put the siding up before the windows went in. How that's possible, I don't know.
I don't know which is worse, the owner or the contractors that he hired.
And the house was originally had shakes on it. So they left the shakes on the lower level and put siding right over it without any insulation. And in the right sunlight, you can see every row of shakes.
Yeah.
And those are only a few of the problems. There's a lot more.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's in question that the workmanship is no good, seeing how they failed every inspection apparently.
It has to be torn down and start from the beginning, best thing. There's so much work that has to be redone. They got plumbing on the front porch that's not insulated.
Yep.
And it's exposed right now, which is all right, because there's no water.
Yeah, we have to work through the legal system
I know
to
it's
make
gonna
sure,
take a long
yeah, I
time
mean,
to fix.
well, I mean, I don't know whether it's gonna get knocked down or how it ends, it'll get dealt with. Ultimately, how and in what manner, I think that's up for review over the next week.
All right, I thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else over here, just over here? No? All right, anyone else? Ms. Boyle?
Debbie Boyle, Van Fleet. I want to thank, Clerk Amy Antonides and Mayor Nash, for working with us,
with the Plainfield chapter of Unico President Abel Benvenga and myself for the proclamation. We truly appreciate it, and the council. There's a lot of heritage in South Plainfield, and I know every month we celebrate one of the heritage. So thank you again for doing this. And thank you to all our officers who came out this evening and our members of the Plainfield chapter of Unico. Also, Sedati Peatham Temple will once again be donating canned goods and funding to the Social Services Department to help those in need from the storm and whoever else needs help. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I agree, Unico does a great job in South Plainfield and throughout the community, so thank you for everything you guys do. Anyone else in the room? Okay, seeing none in the room, anyone on the WebEx? You can unmute yourself, state your name. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Pasquini. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Have a good evening, everyone. We are adjourned.
That's for sure.